Welcome everybody to our training call today. So excited to be with you. We have a great call today following an amazing breakthrough weekend for so many people at our Speak Up and Lead event that we had in our office, 100-Year Lifestyle headquarters in Marietta, Georgia. And I'm excited to share with you because I'm not going to be the one that's sharing. Of course, I'll contribute on some level, but I'm going to let our people speak on behalf of this message and what we're doing and how it changed them. And so we're going to start with Dr. Karar. Doctors Karar, I don't know which ones of you or both of you are on the line. So Dr. Jill and Dr. Vance, if you can unmute your phone or your computer, if you can make yourself visible, that would be great too. If you can't, that's fine. If you don't have a webcam, but who do I have with us today? Vance, Jill, both?
It's me, Dr. Plasker. It's Dr. Vance Karar. Dr. Jill's in the middle of working on some things right now.
Okay, well, hey, Dr. Vance, you came to Marietta, Georgia, 100-Year Lifestyle headquarters for Speak Up and Lead. You've been an affiliate now for, I believe, 5 years. Your practice has grown tremendously. What happened this weekend for you that made a difference?
Well, this weekend really was I really felt was a total immersion of everything that we've learned from you over the last 5 years. We've seen an amazing response with our patients and our practice, but to see other like-minded doctors plug into the vision and see the growth that happened over the course of just a couple of days was profound. And I feel like I learned a tremendous amount about myself, communicating, being brief, being specific, of course, being powerful. But I almost feel like I learned more by watching other doctors go through the exact same experience and learning from their transformation. It just, I'm still blown away by it. It's breaking, I want you to know, Dr. Plasker, it's breaking into my sleeping patterns. I've been getting up at about 3 a.m. every day, and I blame you for it. But I just can't get the ideas and the purpose and the flow and what's actually happening. It's pretty impressive. Been to a lot of seminars. I trained with a lot of docs, and what happened this weekend was transformational. I just can't get it out of my head. Cannot wait for the next one. I want to bring my other docs. I want to bring my children to that Speak Up and Lead because it was just that profound. So I don't want to seem like I'm selling BS, but it's just that powerful.
Okay, so now that was fantastic. And let's make it real for some people because I hear you and we're going to hear that a lot because that's what happens at this event. We talked about how we are literally changing your physiology and helping you rewire yourself for your true purpose. Specifically, give some specific things that you applied other than just amazing confidence and connection and just true change within you. What are some of the specific things that you learned or that you saw that changed you?
Right. I think throughout the day when I'm taking care of patients, it can be summed up in little sound bites, little messages where a patient will say something and you know that what they're saying or how they're communicating with you is incongruent with 100-Year Lifestyle or that specific message. And we second guess ourselves. Maybe we don't want to be confrontational, or maybe what we're saying is not in our minds isn't as smooth as we would like it to be. So what can we do to kind of trim the fat to be very specific over the course of a 15 or 20 or 30 second time frame to make a profound impact in our patients' lives, at least give them something to think about until their next visit. And I feel like I received some really profound, insight from the other docs that were there as well. So not only was it about my personal transformation, but it was about how these other doctors practice and communicate with their patients as well, and how to make a lasting impression, be bold and direct. So one of the things that you taught me this weekend, which is amazing, and I used it probably no less than 25 times yesterday with different patients, and just saying that as we're getting to a decision point in their care plan, that you say the intensity of your care and your continued care is absolutely depends on the intensity of your lifestyle. And people in their minds say, listen, I work hard. I deserve to take care of myself. I work hard, and as a result, I'm hurt. I'm injured. I might feel better, but it drives them to continue with your care plan recommendations. It drives them to continue with their lifestyle care in your office, because the intensity of their lifestyle care is completely contingent on the intensity of their lifestyle. And I love it. It's absolutely magnetic. And I saw the lights go off in my patients, and I thought, oh my God, why have I waited so long? It is just profound.
Yeah, so that's like a 5-second conversation. And what I find, and you tell me if you're seeing this and as you're using it, is that it completely shifts the responsibility to them, and they know it. They get it instantly. They stop blaming you. They stop blaming the world, and they say, okay, you know what? I can't argue with that. That's totally about me. It's not his fault. It's my fault. It's not his responsibility. It's my responsibility. But they accept the responsibility and give you the authority to work with them based on their choices and their responsibility of how they choose to live.
Absolutely. I agree. It's not confrontational, yet it's powerful and profound. And patients get it. They receive it. And we already know, no matter what their decisions for continuing care and lifestyle care is, they're always going to be received in our office with hugs and understanding, and we're always going to meet them where they're at. But to be able to drive that understanding that this is a lifetime venture, and we're going to be in it for our lifetime and for our lifestyle, and they should match that. And it excites them, rather than them going, oh, I don't know if this is the time. I saw excitement yesterday, and that was amazing. I mean, it brought more fuel to the fire.
Awesome. Because it really brings them into the process. And don't go anywhere. I'm going to bring Dr. Dean into this. Dr. Dean, I'm just unmuting you, or I asked you to unmute. So go ahead and unmute yourself. And I'd love for you to add to this conversation if you are still with us. Go ahead and unmute and contribute your words. In fact, I don't know if you're by your computer right now, so I'm going to go to Dr. Janet. Go ahead and unmute yourself there, Janet. Let's hear from you as you were there participating. Why don't you build on what Dr. Vance just said, or just speak what was powerful for you this weekend for yourself, and also in ways that our people can apply it.
Good morning, Eric. Good morning, team. And it's everything that Vance just said. Vance, you just stole everything I had prepared to say. So, so ditto on that. But I do want to speak on the 100-year lifestyle, Eric. What I walked away from is that I see that for our profession, the 100-year lifestyle branding it's a must for our profession to get their brain wrapped around this, because we had 9 different offices represented at our meeting this past weekend. We all have a little different technique. We all do different things, but you had one system that eloquently we can put into our practice, the things that I talked to Jean about when I got back, what I've already been working on implementing. It's so easy. And the one common thread that we all had was that we're all strong, philosophically based chiropractors. And so if we can have one model that speaks that, just think how powerful chiropractic can become with that. So that was, I think it's a must that we go out into our communities and speak to our colleagues in our communities and get them to realize that this isn't some gimmick marketing tool. This is chiropractic in the modern times of today.
chiropractic for the people. And, Janet, I love what you're saying and I appreciate it because the lead part of this, the speak up and lead, and we took some extra time on Sunday morning for those of you that attended in the past and made it all about implementation. We really spent a lot of time about implementation, making it real after everybody had amazing breakthroughs. But I'm going to go back to Janet. Can I just have fun with you a little bit with what I'm about to ask you?
Sure. Do you want me to put my hands above my head?
No, you don't need to do that. You can if you want to, and nobody will understand that except for the people that were there. But what was really interesting, you've been in practice for how many
28.
years?
28.
28 years, seasoned speaker, been very involved. And you were really, really, really nervous, panicky nervous about what was going to happen. I think you knew that there was going to be a massive breakthrough for you. And when we were out and about and I gave everybody the opportunity to go out and practice, you were walking in the parking lot and you were the last one to come back. And I actually really thought you took an Uber and left and went back to Iowa. But you didn't. You stayed and you came in courageously because you were kind of freaking out. Talk about that process for yourself, because a lot of people that I think are on the line, they get nervous to speak their truth. They're afraid to speak their truth. They don't know how it's going to come out. They're afraid they're going to be judged. What was going on for you and how did you overcome it?
I overcame it by, number one, the people in the room, because there was no judgment. I have practiced 28 years with too much fear. The thing that's held me back is the fear of not saying it right. And as Vance just said, you taught us and you helped us to get past that fear of paralysis. Just the simple way. My problem has always been I use too many words. And you really taught us how to get down to using words in a way to communicate, not just to puke all over people. So that's how I did it, Eric. I just decided to get up there, and that's why I went last in the group, because I had to listen to everyone and understand that it was okay. So thanks.
Yeah, and I was so grateful for everybody's trust over the weekend. And if you now look back at what we went through and did together, and I'm going to move on to some of the other people who were there and get their input as well. Everything that we talked about saying and how to say it, or versions of how to say it, we talk about on these training calls, to immerse yourselves in it in a way that it wasn't just a little bit at a time, I think and then to see everybody else do it, I think was also a very important and powerful part of that process. And I'm going to ask Dr. Eileen and Dr. Mackenzie to unmute themselves because they were there and I know they have some things to say that are really valuable. And so if you're there, Dr. Eileen and Mackenzie Whelan, great to have you there this weekend. Go ahead and unmute yourself and say your name so I know who's talking, and let's hear from you. Go ahead.
Hey, Dr. Blasker, it's Mackenzie. So Dr. Eileen, she's actually still in with a patient, but and one of mine just got here, but I can just speak quickly, kind of just to piggyback on what Janet said. I absolutely love what you said, Janet, and I'm so happy to hear your breakthrough on this call. But like she said, 100-year lifestyle, it is a brand, but it's not just a brand, it's a lifestyle. And for somebody who isn't a chiropractor, but I'm working in a chiropractic clinic, being able to communicate that it's a lifestyle and that everyone needs this lifestyle. It's not about the brand, it's about the lifestyle, and empowering people to live that lifestyle and empowering people to make that choice for themselves. And, you spoke a lot this weekend about how the fear of taking things too personal gets in your way, and you get stuck in that place of taking it too personal and being afraid of the judgment. And so really, really moving out of that and embodying that lifestyle and that brand and empowering people to live that lifestyle. They don't even have to like the brand, but love the lifestyle, live the lifestyle, because it matters.
It does. And not being a chiropractor, Mackenzie, and we have had CAs, we've had spouses, we have had obviously associate doctors join us for the weekend. Working in a chiropractic office, growing up in a home, in a chiropractic family for you, but not being a chiropractor, how much more did you feel empowered to have a voice over patients' education, communication, things like that?
So empowered, you know, and I spoke a lot about my own imposter syndrome that I, you know, kind of induced myself, not having that doctor in front of my name, and how that was my own mental fear, but realizing and feeling so empowered that there's a space for everyone at the table, and there's a space for people who have had their lives changed by chiropractic to advocate for chiropractic and to help bridge that gap and get that message out in our community and in the rest of the world, you know. And there's a space for everyone. And I think for me personally, I really felt like, I mean, I was in a room of incredibly educated, just smart people, and I felt leaving there that I had earned my seat at the table, and that there was a place for me, and that I was just as much a part of the movement as everyone else in the room.
Yeah. And you know what? And just to make it clear for everybody that's listening that was not there, they chose the seat at the table. You chose the seat at the
Yeah.
table. I didn't choose you. You chose it. You were
Mhm.
attracted to it. And that's what I think is beautiful with our patients, also our practice members and their families and friends. They choose to participate because of the trust, the magnet, the vision that we give people. And, you know, Mackenzie, you're talking with tremendous confidence now, but there was a time that you were lost. Talk about that transformation real quick for us.
Oh man, yeah, I mean, just in the weekend, just when I can't even put into words what I felt like coming into it, just the level of fear and imposter syndrome I had just been plagued with, and walking out of there just feeling so empowered, feeling like I can choose a seat at any table I want. And it was just amazing that in um 24 hours, 30 hours, however many hours it was, you know, just exercising.
It was actually 2,000 hours.
2,000 hours, just exercising that, what is it, BRCA 34? and how amazing that was for me. And just you know, immersing myself in the 100-year lifestyle, and just now learning how to speak it, and learning how to speak it in a way that I can help bridge the gap. And just the transformation, just, it feels incredible.
Well, I appreciate the share. And what's kind of exciting to hear you share, and for everybody on the line, it was really not 2,000 hours, it was 30 hours. And what you're hearing is a result of the commitment to completely immersing yourself and becoming the big idea. We talk a lot about becoming the big idea not being outside of you, but you becoming the big idea, not trying to shrink it down to make it fit what you already know, but truly changing yourself to be the big idea, to become the big idea is really important. And so thanks, Mackenzie. And I don't know if Dr. Eileen is back yet, or if Dr. Dean is back and wants to unmute. That would be great. Here's Eileen is entering the room now. So Eileen,
Yes.
Whelan, you want to go ahead and share, Eileen? I don't know if you can hear me yet, but huge breakthrough for you this weekend. Dr. Eileen, go ahead and unmute yourself and share if you don't mind. The question was, what color shoes did you wear when you were barefoot? No, just kidding. Talk about what happened for you over the weekend. This was your second Speak Up and Lead. What was the difference maker for you? You did amazing, seeing that there's just the difference in you from 3 years ago coming back. What was big for you this weekend? What did you learn? What did you notice? What did you change?
Well, definitely coming this time from, like I said, a place of inspired action as opposed to efforting, made how I felt and what I heard resonate very differently. And I think probably the biggest thing that I took away is figuring out how to become more expert at saying more with less words. And that was huge because it's sometimes you feel like you have to be a talking head. And the reality is, with the tools we have as 100-year lifestyle affiliates, you don't. but you really need to access the tools and use them consistently and at a greater level of proficiency.
Awesome.
That's
And
what I
you,
learned.
you made up the word efforting, which I think is a great word. I love making words up. Talk about that word, because I think a lot of people on the line, it is how they live. They, they have to do everything themselves, or they make things harder than it is. Talk about efforting and why it's different for you now when you're not efforting.
Well, I think for me, the efforting comes along with the mindset and the thought patterns. And over the last 4 years of really becoming more and more proficient as a 100-year lifestyle doc, and really understanding the tools, I now can communicate again with more inspired action and less efforting, really understanding how to use the resources and seeing the impact of those resources on what we're doing. That's probably the, one of the aspects of the efforting part of my life that has become less and less.
Very cool. And as that becomes less and less, what does that do for your capacity? What does that do for patient compliance? What does that do for ease of growth?
Well, I think for me, seeing the effect of transitioning from a heavy insurance-based practice to a total cash practice model, and knowing that the tools that I've learned and I have as a 100-year lifestyle affiliate is what keeps the phone ringing, because people read the reviews and people, as you say, really utilize the pre-day one process in deciding who they want to see as a chiropractor. And even though I'm not on those lists, they still decide, hey, even though my insurance is covered by Dr. Joe down the road, I want to come see you. And that, I think, has a lot to do with the 100-year lifestyle branding, messaging, look, congruency, all of those things that we learn as affiliates.
Love
But it's
that.
taken me a few years to figure it out for lots of different reasons in my journey. But I've hung in there, and you can see the difference when I was at Speak Up and Lead in 2018, when I was in the thick of my efforting. And now I am working from a place of inspired action, and that feels so much better.
Yeah, and what's really cool about that is that you don't have to be perfect in order to grow. The process and the commitment of that, being involved and engaged, you have grown and grown and grown and grown and grown through the process of it. So I think that's really important. A lot of people get involved and they say, well, I'm going to wait to implement until I have everything down perfectly. And the reality of it is you just need to be committed to the journey and implementing the journey and being a part of the journey. And as a result of that, you attract different people, you attract more people, and you become more followable, which is what Speak Up and Lead is really all about. And I'm going to move to Eileen. Thank you for sharing. Mackenzie, thanks for sharing.
You're welcome.
I saw Paul Weeks come on too. I don't know if Paul's still on the line. He is trying to come back and forth in between patients. But Paul, if you're on the line, go ahead and speak up. And I can't see your name. We have an iPhone here, a couple of them. I don't know who that is. But Paul, if you're here, speak up. We'd love to hear from you. Dean, if you are here, we'd love to hear from you. Go ahead, Dean. I just saw you on mute.
Yeah, Eric, I'm here. And
go ahead and speak up a little louder, or turn up your volume.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Better.
Can you hear me?
Better.
Okay. All right. So the thing that I learned that I was in a state of judgment. I was judging my patients. I was judging people around me, and I was taking it really personal when people that I've been taking care of for 30 years were coming in and telling me that they'd received their first and second dose of vaccination. You took that away from me, and you gave me back my love for people, and took away the judgment. And my day yesterday was filled with such in-depth communication with people, and I turned on the love machine, and it just was a beautiful day in the office. It took all of my anxiety away. And so I just want to thank you, and I want to thank everybody who was at the meeting, because I learned from every one of you. Like Dr. Vance had said, there was something about each of your presentations that was a learning experience for me. So it was tremendously valuable to have. I wish I had all my associates there. Eventually we'll get them there, but powerful, powerful weekend. Thank you very much.
My pleasure. So Dean, you have what you just said, something that I think is very important, that you were judging people. And so what I saw in the last week and a half leading up to Speak Up and Lead, you were taking things so personally that you had become afraid on some level. Not like I'm afraid of you or I'm afraid of the confrontation, but like you couldn't handle any more rejection. And you're a strong guy. You've been in practice for 30 years. But the rejection or the people that were doing things anyway, even though you told them your version of the truth, and it really hurt your confidence. And a lot of people, I think, are feeling like their confidence has been shaken because of similar situations. What would you say to those people based on what you learned in your experience?
Well, I can tell you that, it takes a third party to, identify from their position what you're dealing with. And when you basically pointed out to me that I was holding on to this kind of resentment and anger, and it was affecting me in a negative way, I immediately realized that I had lost my loving spirit and my giving spirit, and I was judging, and I was as a result of my judging, I was withdrawing, and I was withdrawing so strong that like we had said, I had considered canceling the trip. And I had some flight issues, and of course, that was an excuse for me to not come out. But thank God that you were persistent and you got me out there, because it really solved all of the problems that I was dealing with leading up to that particular weekend. And this has been an accumulated effect of more than I would say maybe even a dozen years of seeing what's happening in the world, seeing how the sheep are following the wrong message, and we've got to get on message. We've got to get our loving spirit back and serve through a bigger door.
Wow. Well, we need your voice, all of your voices, to be strong. And when it's not strong, how cool is it, Dean and Eileen and others and all of you that were not there this weekend, when you're having a bad day or you're having an off time and you're, maybe burdened by things, or you're just busy in your personal life, to know that there's a relentless focused message in the world that stands for what we all believe in. And I think Dr. Vance said it really well on, I guess it was Saturday morning, that while all of you are going to work on Monday morning, just know I'm going to work Monday morning too, with a common voice. And so, so grateful for that. And so, Dean, thank you for speaking up. Dr. Paul just texted me and said he's got a 91-year-old patient he had to see, so he's off the line. So let me hear, if you were not there, what hit home for you based on some of these conversations? Last week we talked about, come on, let it out, get it off your chest, get it off your chest. What hit home for you based on hearing some of these doctors talk? And we are going to put another one on the calendar, possibly for June. So be on the lookout for that. You can put it on your schedule if you want to come. Small group, focus group, very intense. You'll be glad you came. What hit home for you as a result of maybe some of the things you heard here? Anybody want to share? We'd love to hear from you. Come on, get it off your chest. And then we're going to go over some really, really cool new website looks that you're going to have an option to participate in. So anybody?
Hey, Dr. Plasker.
Yes.
Yes, this is Dr. Vance Crew. I have Dr. Jill. She just stepped in. She'd like to say a few things if she could.
Absolutely. Dr. Jill, your text was awesome. Loved it. Let's hear from you. Go ahead.
Hey, Dr. Plasker. This weekend was amazing. The biggest thing I got out of it was that I'm not alone, that I'm not on this little island by myself and just getting bombarded by you know, all these missiles. I feel like it made me realize that I can speak up, I can say what needs to be said, and I don't have to fear anymore. And I'm not alone. That's the biggest thing.
Awesome. Well, that was, I thought, big for you. Another thing that I thought was really big for you is you almost had a complete and total identity shift. That's what I saw, like the way that you had in your mind decided what your identity was and your role was. I literally saw it change right there on the spot. Did you notice that? And if you did, can you talk about it?
Yes, it was, like Vance said before, transformational for me. I'm so used to standing in the background and letting others kind of take the spotlight and not speaking up. I realized this weekend that I needed to speak up. I needed to stand forward and be the power that I am and stop holding myself back.
Awesome. And what I think we all learned watching you is that personal power has nothing to do with physical size or physical strength. It has to do with the strength of your spirit and the willingness to speak your truth, to speak up and lead. And you did that. It was amazing to watch. So just honored to be a part of your journey. Thank you for being there.
I appreciate so much. It's been life-changing.
Yeah. And, you know, you mentioned to me in your text afterwards, we had a little group text going that you had some conversations in your practice yesterday that were different for you. Can you talk about those as well? Because these are conversations that we're all having.
I've been wanting to have these conversations for months, and I've been too scared to do it because I've been afraid that people are going to get upset with me, that I'm going against the grain. I was able to speak about COVID yesterday with a ton of my patients, the vaccines. I was talking to mothers about not only vaccines and COVID as well, but also the dangers of wearing masks for children. That was one thing that Dr. Janet had told us this weekend that just, it made sense, and I hadn't even thought about it. So it was amazing. I mean, even during interviews, I had people coming in who wanted to do interviews to get a job. I'm talking to them about it. I just couldn't stop talking. And I was amazed at how everybody was so into it. I mean, my patients were like, they were just relieved to hear it. And I didn't realize that. I think everybody is just as scared as we are. And they're tired of it and they're ready to be done. And it was neat to see that so many people are on the same page as I am.
Yeah, so true. And cancel culture that has been rampant in our society today has got all of the people, so many people that think like you and I, feeling like that we are not and should not be able to speak. And when you speak and when I speak and when Janet speaks and when all of our people speak, you realize, wow, man, there's so many people that think like us, but everybody's afraid to speak. They're afraid of the judgment. And so I'm so excited that you're speaking out and having that realization. That's what we want for everybody to be able to do. So thank you for speaking up. Anybody want to share before we wind down this portion of the call? And I'm going to show you some of the new web templates that we're working on that you're going to love. They are world-class, first class. Super excited about it. And so we're going to roll those out within probably 30 days. So let's hear from some of you. Come on, anybody else? Questions, comments, feedback?
Dr.
Did you learn
Plasker.
anything? Dr.
It's
Lori,
Dr. Lewis
yes.
in News Valley. How are you?
Good.
I am new to this, and I just want to tell you I'm in such gratitude because I've been in practice 20 years. I'm sorry I missed the weekend this weekend. I will be attending the next one that you're going to be having, but just listening to doctors that have been practicing longer than I have, feeling the same way that I was feeling. I just feel such a sense of community, and I'm just in gratitude to each and every one of you on this call because you're in explaining how you're feeling, you're speaking my truth, and it's giving me the strength to speak out myself. So I just wanted to, this is the first time I'm chiming in. I just wanted to say thank you. And I'm just so humbled and grateful that I'm here with you.
Wow, Dr. Lori, you're humbling us all. Thank you. We're honored to have you as a part of our family here, and we're grateful that you are one of the purposeful willing, as we say. And And feel free to speak up. And we love that you're engaging, and we'll let everybody know when the next date is. And thanks, Jen Corrado from California. So much courage. Thank you for sharing. We appreciate your comment in the chat, and appreciate you being here for probably like year 8 or 9 as an affiliate. We love that you're a part of this journey. So anybody else before we end this portion of the call?